bishops, what are you doing there? And I said, I was given an honorary title by the president, no other person, but the president of the Charismatic Conference of Nigeria. And let me use this video to congratulate you on your election, not just as the Charismatic Bishop of Nigeria, but also of that of Africa. This is indeed a testament to your commitment to your faith and your unbinding belief in God and your service to humanity. I want to congratulate you once again on behalf of the President and the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Congratulations for that. Administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been rolling out. There is no need for me to repeat them here, but suffice is to say that much as you felt that I came and I declared it open, not just declared it open, also stayed true, but I also feel glad that in your show of unity, in your show of support, in your show, in the belief, your abiding belief in the concept of nationhood and togetherness in this country, you chose me to come and declare that conference open. I think with that singular act, the Charismatic Bishop Conference has indicated to all of us Nigerians, and indeed the whole of Africa, that yes, we may belong to different religions, but we also are all creations of God. And to all of us will return to God someday. I want to thank you for this show of unity and for reminding people that indeed there is only one God to whom all of us are all accountable to. Thank you very much for that. Second, let me also seize this opportunity to thank you. You've been here waiting for over an hour. Of course, like I said, I must apologize. It's not in our tradition to keep anybody, not even the bishops and archbishops, waiting. It is also the call of duty again at the SGF's office, and all of us had to be there. So I'm sorry for keeping you, but I also am grateful and thankful to you for waiting. I was throughout chatting with my secretary and finding out if indeed you are not angry. He said no, they're actually enjoying themselves here. Thank you very much for that. This is also another indication of someone who believes in the concept of time, and who also believe that God's time is always the best. The 1 hour delay, I'm sure, is a blessing to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me also say that your synod was actually a coincidence with the 1-year administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Indeed, part of the reason why the opening of the synod conference was delayed till afternoon was because it was the very day that we had the 1-year anniversary of this administration, and therefore we all had to be there, and afterwards came. Thank you for that. And I will take your message to Mr. President and indeed the SGF of your belief and your happiness in his appointment as Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Indeed, the SGF is doing wonderfully well, and all of us respect his position, we respect his disposition, we also respect his commitment and his loyalty to the President and his loyalty to the project called Nigeria. We will convey this message to him. But more importantly, you talked about the issue of the moment, and that is the issue of the national strike, national protest rather. You see, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes in the freedom of everyone within the confines of the law to do what he thinks is right for him. Therefore, the president is not an opponent of protest of any kind, but the president is an opponent of violence. He is an opponent of anything that negatively hamper the well-being of Nigerians. We believe, and the President has always been saying that, you can, of course, within the tenets of democracy, you have every right to do what you want to do, provided that right does not also infringe on another person's own. We have seen why everybody is very cautious and very wary of this national protests. It's because we have seen what has happened around the world. We know that it is almost impossible to hold this protest and then have peace at the end of the day. You cannot do that. People are waiting to take laws into their hands. And therefore, government will always protect lives and property of the people, because that is why the government is there in the first place. Therefore, the message of Mr. President is that he has heard all the pleas, all the complaints, all the suggestions, all the commentaries of especially the youth, and not just the youth, of all members of the Nigerian society, about some of the difficulties or the challenges that they are facing. But Mr. President is also putting in place a number of measures to ameliorate that. Some of them we have already mentioned. For example, the Students' Loan Board, the NEL Fund. This is unprecedented. It is an attempt to ensure that every student that has the necessary credentials to go to the university or polytechnic or any tertiary institution has the right to do so. And not just that he has the right to do so by paying the fees, also ensuring that you are putting some money, stipend, into the pocket of the student so that they will be able to go to school. What this means is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not allow any child who is of school age, who has the requisite requirement, qualification, to go to the university or polytechnic or any qualification, to be left out simply because his parent or his guardian is unable to pay the fees. That time is past. But beyond that, there is also another very new policy that the President has also formulated, which will begin to be seen very, very soon. And that is that all young men and women who have finished university, who have certificates, who have done the NYSC, the Mandatory National Youth Service Corps, and have not been able to get jobs, will have something from government to keep them afloat until the time they get jobs or skills. This is entirely unprecedented. It has never happened in the history of this country, where you have everyone who should be gainfully employed but is unable to do that, having some stipend in his pocket. Of course, the policy is being properly honed, and very soon it is going to be officially unveiled. But I think that this is the right forum to also tell Nigerians on that. Government is aware of some of the challenges we have, the security challenges. But we all know that there has been a significant improvement even in our security situation. Now, government is not saying that the problem has been solved. It's far from it. This problem is still there. But you cannot compare it to the problem that was there before the inauguration of the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We were all here when it was extremely difficult for you to ply the road simply between Abuja and Kaduna here. Once upon a time, it was difficult to ply this road. Now you can go to Kaduna and come back. At a point, even the train services were being disrupted by these criminal elements. But today, the train services have resumed. The roads are largely secure. Now, this does not mean that the problem has completely gone away. The President does not shy away from owning where there are challenges or where there are problems. This is one marked difference of the Bola Tinubu administration. When there are issues, when there are challenges, when there are problems to be owned, the Mr. President goes ahead to own. Recall that when the Kuriga school children were taken in Kaduna State. Within 2 hours, there was already a statement signed by the president himself, owning up to the situation and charging the security agencies to come up with strategies to ensure the immediate release of those children. And that was achieved in record time. More importantly, it was achieved without the payment of any ransom. And you can see the security agencies working around the clock. In the past, people are being kidnapped and taken to the bush. Nobody even accounts for them. Every soul that is taken by these bandits, once the government is aware, government will swing into action, security agencies will pursue that, and by God's grace, they have been successful in returning most of them, and they keep working and working around the clock. I think we need to salute the courage of our security agencies. We need to applaud what they do, but also to employ them to do more for our great country. Now, the issue of minimum wage. Now, there was also, as you know, a tripartite committee that was set up. Tripartite because it had 3 legs. One, the government side, the organized private sector on the second leg, and on the third leg, the organized labor. The first 2 agreed, the last didn't agree. The president, in his wisdom, even after he has taken the report, continued his consultation with everybody, all the stakeholders in the labor matter. And we have seen what has happened. Last week, labor came, and all of us have agreed to 70,000 naira. And what is even more important is that it was transmitted, and in less than 48 hours, this bill was passed. This is unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Now, the president is always a listening president. Once you come up and say, there is a problem here, he listens and he tries to remedy the situation. This is what separates him from other leaders. Because of this, he doesn't shy away from facts when he sees them. That is why all of us feel really very happy to be part of this administration. An administration that will always listen to people and make amends where it is necessary to do so. Now, this is also in addition to so many other things, that the palliatives that we have talked about, the tax holidays, the enhanced security, especially within the FCT like we have talked about, but not just within the FCT, all across this country. And that is why he's appealing to our youth, that he recognizes that they have a right to vent their anger where necessary. The president feels that the youth can let out what they feel, because this is a democracy. But what the president is saying is that he has already listened to them, he's feeling their pulse, he has listened to them, he has taken all their complaints, and he's working on those complaints. So for goodness sake, let us please give him more time. And we feel happy that the Charismatic Bishops Conference is aligning itself with this position of government. We thank you for not just show of support for government, but also your love for our country. You are doing this not because of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not because of his government, but because of the love that you have for Nigeria. And all of you are able to see that once you don't stem this, the likelihood is that there may be breakdown of law and order that all of us would not be happy about. Of course, I've been reminded that the issue of the CNG, the compressed natural gas, which is really happening, and I want to tell you that most of these buses have already arrived. The first batch, the conversion kits, many of them have been imported already. The conversion centers are already being set up. These things take some time because they are not things that you just go and buy off the shelf. You need time. You need time to place these orders, in addition to some of the procurement processes that our laws, that are in our laws. So you have to be also on the good side of the law. That is why some of these things are taking longer than necessary. But I want to assure you that all the bottlenecks, the president has ensured that everything needs to be done to ensure that we return, Nigeria returns to clean energy, the energy transition that is required for us to march to prosperity, to keep money in the pockets of Nigerians. Because if you convert to CNG on your car, for example, you are saving more than 60% of your money. That money will remain in your pocket and be used in other things. We just have to embrace the CNG, and government is determined. Indeed, every procurement process for government, ministries, agencies and departments, for vehicles, for generators that do not have either CNG provision in them or are not modeled in electric fashion will not be approved by the Federal Executive Council. So every procurement of vehicles must have this in a way to promote our energy efficiency and transition. So thank you very much, my Professor Leonard Kawal-Bature. We feel humbled. We don't take this visit for granted. We'll continue to do more, and we'll take this message to the President. We'll inform him of your determination. We'll inform him of your commitment to this project called Nigeria, and we'll also inform him of the support that all of you have given towards the realization of the mandate of the President himself. Thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to meeting you again and again and again. I hope that you will invite me for the next synod. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause to the Honorable Minister in the Commission on National Education.